thing. This car was so much fun to drive. But it's changing. And here we have the material for the shade. Now, we have lightweight, flexible solar panels that are now available, but I don't have them here. I'm going to use what I have. And they are going to protrude. Let me go around this car, because I can talk all I want at any time. I can overdub some talking. But I'm gonna rebuild this car. And so I better get my pictures of it now. Okay. So there she is, the flea. But it's got no shade. And so the first thing it's going to get is a big roof on it, which I'm going to have to bolt some uprights. I'll start doing the 3D thing. I know just where I'll do it. I'm going to bolt an upright here. Okay. So we're back to the drawing board here. Back to the drawing board. Now, the modern car must have certain elements. Here's the first one, the solar panels, and that's our shade. And then, well, we already have the car, you've seen that. Here's the car, I'm trying to do a little perspective here. You saw my car out there with a one back wheel, two front wheels. Well, that's great. And here's my seat. I'm going to put some struts up here to support this platform. And so that's going to drop onto here. And then I'm going to wrap it. We're going to wrap it in eraser. I had an eraser here. We're going to wrap it in an envelope, and the envelope is going to have a cross section like this. So this drops onto here, and there's my windshield. There's my streamlining. Only actually this is going to be much bigger. It's going to be, here's my front section, and that's enough windshield. I'm sitting right here. This is going to be solar panels back here. I'm going to start them down here under the window, and they're going to go like that to the sides, sort of make a boat tail for me. Now this is a terrible mess drawing, but I'm going to erase it and start over. And that way, when the sun's shining from the side, which it often does in the afternoons and mornings, I'll get some. So you get my eraser. There. It's working. Okay, so here's our top view, and we're actually looking right down through the solar panel, and you can see the outline, my streamlining, And of course I sit here. And here is the new suspect, which is a swimming pool motor. That's what it was sold as. It's a permanent magnet DC motor, a Honeywell, big deal. And it's quite efficient. This is supposed to run at 72 volts, but I'm going to run it at lower voltage, and so it's going to give me lower RPM. And when it gives me lower RPM, along with that, it's going to give me lower losses, lower hysteresis losses, because I'm not magnetizing that many times a second, lower eddy currents, that's frequency dependent too, and lower frictional and windage losses. So that's electric motors for you. And if I want to add more voltage at a later date, it'll just go faster. It's quite torquey. It's a 1.5 horsepower motor, but I'm sure it'll do 3 horsepower momentarily. I don't want to, I can't. Alright, I fixed the jack shaft, sort of. Here's the new chain. The new chain works well, this non-derailer single speed bicycle chain. But this, look at that, it's all like cocked, because it is off. And I have to, maybe I'll try to bend it straight and re-weld it. You're not supposed to weld stuff to a shaft anyway. But anyway, the whole jack shaft is sloppy, and I might invest in a $30 jack shaft kit for a go-kart and put it on here. But it works. Let's take it for a spin. It doesn't have reverse gear yet, but it will. The knife switch will handle that. And a speed control too. But for now, oops, here's what it feels like to drive solar. The knife switch. And here we are. We're driving on the sun. Pure solar. Now, you're not supposed to hold the camera while you drive. See, I'm in the shade. I am in the shade. I'm sitting here in the shade, driving down the street with no gas, no battery. Now, it will get a battery. It's going to be a hybrid. But right now, it's pure solar. I can't go through that shade. If I do, I'm dead. Already did that today. Stop sign. Uh-oh. My back fender. I gotta fix my back fender. It's getting too noisy. Scraping on the back tire. And here we are. Scraping on the chain. There. My car is fixed. Pretty bad, huh? But I'll fix it. First thing is you get it running. If you fix it before you get it running, it doesn't run. So here, let me take a look. Here we are. There's my shade. I need to get out of the sun and get in the shade. Oh yeah. Get a good look at this contraption. Here's what people see when I drive down the street. But I'm going in the shade. Yep, this is the desert. We have to have water and shade. I'm going to put water on the emergency water. Anyway, here we go. Pretty boring, except I'm doing it on the sun. Now I'm going to do something about the edges. I'm going to get some spray foam and pad this thing. I'm going to pad the edges of the solar panels. Driving around the block. I'm not scared of this shadow because I'm going downhill. There's a tree I gotta watch for around the block. I thought my motor was broken. That's a terrible noise. Now, this is what I see, because this is right in front of my face. You see the nice shade? And you stop. I have to stop for the stop sign. And here we go. It sounds like a golf cart when I kick it into gear. Hey guys, I'm not using gas. You are. Natural gas. Alright. And back home. Here's the shadow I have to watch out for. The killer shadow from that tree. Uh-oh. That's not good. Sound like a bearing. Okay, that's the tree shadow slowed me down. And I'm going back in my driveway. It pulls uphill just fine. Plenty low gearing. I crashed. That was cool. Now, my handbrake. And I'm parked. It's turned off. Now, that's all great, but the thing is, when you're parked, now what? Well, this thing's getting batteries. It's going to be a hybrid. It's not going to be a pure solar. And the battery's going to sit right there behind that seat, right under there. And I'm going to put an inverter on it. I can plug my house into it. In case of emergency, plug house into car. Just like the Ford pickup truck. Only mine's cheaper. And worse. But the Ford pickup truck you're supposed to plug in. Mine you don't plug in. You plug out of it instead. You get the power from the house from when you're parked. So, here's my solar electric car. Put a shade. Now, even very early in the morning, I get shade. It's important. So, of course, it's going to have batteries, but I wanted to find out if it would go on the solar panels alone. Wouldn't you? I was curious. So, here's what it took to do that. This is a 4-to-1 gear reduction, and it's all screwed up. This is all cocked and it's all out of line, but it works. But I'm going to get rid of it because I ordered a fancy transmission, a motorcycle transmission, and that's because I need to be able to shift gears. Now, an electric motor, you can do it like a Tesla or a Chevy Bolt. You don't have to shift gears, but it's like having optical zoom versus electronic zoom. You're not going to be able to use your resources to their best advantage at all speed ranges. They don't care in a Tesla. They got a 100 kilowatt hour battery. I don't. I'm shooting way lower. So I got to conserve pennies. And I want to be able to, just for fun, I want to be able to drive on my solar panels. Now, many cars are electric cars. This car here is an electric car because if you turn the key and put it in gear, it goes. Of course, you can't do that on your new plastic car because you got the lockout where you got to step on the clutch. But I could put a solar panel on top and hook it up to the battery, and I could drive it around like that. Not very well, not very far. So, and not very fast either. So I have to improve upon that. And so that's why the low rolling resistance rear end and the direct connection. Direct connection's terribly important because I want to get everything out of my solar panels. So you have the solar panels these are right now in parallel. It took 3 to get me going. It'd probably climb this. See, I have a hill here. I can either go up or down coming out of my driveway. So it could probably climb it on 2 panels, but it climbs it very comfortably on 3 at first gear speeds. Now, I have this switch, which is right now just the on-off switch, but this is a double pole, double throw, and that I'm going to use for a stacker. So it's going to switch from parallel like this. Ooh, it wants to go. It's early in the morning, but it wants to go. It's to series over here, and that way, instead of running at 30 volts, I'll be running at 60 volts, and there's my higher speed. Now, I have another switch, which is actually, this one's going to be my forward reverse switch. This one is going to be the stacker switch because it's a triple pole, triple throw, and I happen to have 3 panels. So when I stack my batteries, I have to disconnect the 3rd panel, and that's what this 3rd switch is going to do. So I'm going to have high speed, low speed, forward on, that is, and reverse, center off, you know. So what was a 48cc flea will now become an electric shade.